So you'll see I have a couple more things added that you see on yours too. I have guesses left, and then I have a spot for that. And the goal of this one is to set this up so that basically we can count how many letters are right and how many letters are wrong. And based on the number wrong, we're going to tell the user how many guesses are left. So the first thing I want to do is create a variable called num wrong and num right. So be my VAR. When I start the game, I'm actually going to give them values because when I start the game, I don't have any wrong or any right so far. Now, these two variables, the place where I'm going to need to either increase the number that are wrong, the number of letters that are guesses that are wrong, or the number that are right, is down in my check letter function. So at first, I tried to do this, and I'm actually going to try to show it the way I did it. I said if word choice I equals the letter choice, I'm going to sec text letter plus I letter choice. And if I did find something that works, anytime that if statement worked, I wanted to take num right and add 1. So we can use our plus equals 1 here. So that makes sense. Even if you remember from the other video, if I had that word 7, the if would work twice for both e's, and the number right would go up to 2. So down here, I'm going to console log num right because this is where I actually call the function, so I can see is it working correctly. So I've got my word topic. I'm going to enter those letters. So an O, and I see that num right went up to 1. And enter a P. It went up to 2. I'm going to enter a J, and it shouldn't change. So it stayed at 2. So it looks like my number right is working correctly. I'm going to reset a couple times till I get a repeated letter word. Hopefully I'll notice it to stop. Boost. Okay, so we're going to guess O, and I should see the number 2 because there's 2 O's in that word. So it looks like number right is working correctly. Now, from here, what I did first, I'm going to create another if statement. So I went through this whole for loop. I'm not going to build it off this if statement. I'm going to build it below the for loop. Now, what I did at first is I said if the num right equals 0, then I am going to, so if I don't have any right, I need to increase the number wrong. So then I wrote num wrong plus equals 1. And we'll just check to see how that works. So if I don't have any right, then the number wrong has to increase by 1. So I'm also going to console log the num wrong and see if it's working. So if I start out and I pick something like a J again, I'm going to see the num right is 0 and the num wrong is 1. And then if I pick a P, which is also not in the word model, the number right is 0, the number wrong is 2. But let's just say I pick an O. Now my number right is 1 and my number wrong is 2. Now I'm going to pick something wrong like a Z. It stayed at 1 and 2, so the number wrong is not increasing. So the problem is once I've guessed one thing right, even if the next one's wrong, this num right equals 0 will not work. So I realized I needed another variable for my checking. So up here, now this variable is only going to work in the function. I don't need to output it. I don't need to do anything. So I'm going to create a local variable. So I'm going to create a variable check and set it equal to 0. So what's going to happen here is each time I call this function, each time I enter a new number, check is going to go back to 0. So now underneath here, I can also do check plus equals 1. And then if check equals 0, the number wrong will have to count up. So the idea is whereas the number right is going to maintain its value the next time I call the function, the check value is going to go back to 0. So if this for loop doesn't work, if I don't find any letters that match, it will be true all the time. If you need to rewatch that part, that's fine. If I console log check down here, it wouldn't do anything because I haven't returned it. Okay, but now let's just see if it works as we expect. So here's a word clerk. I'm going to enter a letter that works. Right, wrong. I'm going to enter a letter that doesn't work. Right, wrong. Okay, and even if I wanted to clarify this, I might do this. And this is not something that's required, but the point is you really, when you're doing your console logs, you really want to know what's going on. So let's just run it again. So now I have the word stuff. D, right is 0, wrong is 1. We'll use the F. Okay, right is 2, wrong is 1. We'll use a Z. Right is 2, wrong is 2. And the 2 for right means 2 letters are right, not 2 F's are right. Or, I'm sorry. The F is 1 letter, but there's 2 spots that are right, just to clarify that. A D, wrong is 3. So it looks like we're counting correctly. So that was the reason that I included the extra check variable. Now, the last thing I'm going to do on this video is I'm going to show how to output this value. Now, I don't know how many guesses, I do know how many guesses, but I'm going to say I don't know how many guesses I want to allow the person to have. So when I don't know, that's a good time to use a parameter. So I'm actually going to call it chances. Okay. So this is how many chances. So do they get 8 wrong before the hangman's done? Do they get whatever? So we're going to call that chances. And here, this is only going to change, okay, if basically if we have a situation where we get something wrong. Now, I am going to set mine. I know I said I want to make it so I can change it, but for this game, I'm going to give 6 chances. So the way I'm coding it. So the first thing I need to do is set the text here to 6. So this is when we're starting. We're going to choose an item. We're going to console log the word choice just to make sure we know our word. And we're going to set the text of S's left to 6. And you know what? Change my mind. Get rid of this parameter. That's going to create a lot of other stuff. So we'll just say for now it's going to be 6. But a nice thing I could do, it would involve some return, is I could code this so I could change the number of chances. But I'm going to say it's just 6. I'm also going to here start to set things up. So right now, just so we see, I need to name this guesses left. So it says I have 6 guesses left. Okay. So a nice thing I could do with the program, I just didn't take it to that level, is we could set it so it could have different guesses left. For now, it's going to be 6. So we want this number to change and say there's only 5 guesses left and then 4 guesses left whenever they get something wrong. So this is our section where if check equals 0, we know the number wrong is going up. And then we're going to set the text of the guesses left to 6 minus num. So let's just see how that works. Right now it's 6. If I guess an S for steel, it doesn't change. If I guess a B, which is not in steel, it goes down to 5. C, D, E, X, P, Z. Okay, so I get down to guesses left 0. We're not in this video coding anything. Now I actually think after looking at it a little more, I could add that parameter. So let's just see how it works. So I'm going to put chance in here, chances. And instead of 6, I'm going to have chances minus number wrong. So down here, when I call my function, I'm going to check the letter. We're going to plug in guess, and we're going to give them 6 chances. Now, as I have it coded, this piece would need to be changed. So if I changed it to 7 here, I would need to set this to a 7. But that's only 2 spots to change things, which is not that bad. So here, my word is short. I'm not going to go through the whole process, but we see that it's counting down. Now, if I set this to a 7 and then said this was a 7, we see that it counts down from the 7 versus counting down from the 6. So the way we're going to code our program is that we're going to have 6 chances only, but the idea is that's a really nice thing to have because that's something you might want to change about your game, or you might want the user to be able to pick, I'd like to get 10 guesses. You could have an easy and a hard level or a medium level to your game.